Okay, well, good afternoon. Welcome to this afternoon's webinar. I'm just going to pause for a moment just while people click through and join the room. But once you're here, if you wouldn't mind, there's a chat panel just to the right of your screen. If you wouldn't mind just giving me a thumbs up in there or just letting me know that you can hear me, please, that'd be fantastic. But yeah, we'll just pause to let people come in. That's fantastic. Thanks very much for that. Just give it a few more seconds. Great stuff. Okay, well, like I say, welcome to this afternoon's webinar. We're going to be looking at plumbing this afternoon, and I'm really pleased that John's joined us for this afternoon's call from our plumbing department. And in a minute, he's going to take you through our plumbing programs in a little bit more detail. First, a little bit of housekeeping. That chat panel over to the right-hand side of the screen. Obviously, if you've got any particular questions that you'd like me to put to John while we're on the call today, then pop them into the chat panel and we'll pick those up for you. And Sue, who's just said hello in the chat as well, is also there just to keep an eye on things and help you with questions if you've got them. Now, we're running these webinars because obviously at the moment we're not able to offer normal open events where you would come in and see the facilities. And you know what we've heard from our students and from those who are interested in coming to study with us in September is that they really miss the opportunity to come in and have a look around, but also to have those opportunities at events to speak directly to our tutors to find out more about programs and ask their questions. Now, you know, I can't bring you in and you know, we've got some brilliant 360-degree photos on our website that you can look at, so you can still see those workshops and classrooms and our social areas and all different parts of our campus. I do appreciate it's not quite the same as coming in, but at least we've got something there for you to look at. But although I can't do that, what I can do is give you direct access to John this afternoon to answer your questions. So please do pop those into the chat and we will deal with those as we go through, as I said. Now, on the top right-hand side of your screen, you'll see that there is a tab there that's called polls. So if you wouldn't mind clicking on that for me, please. And we're just really interested to know who we've got on the call today. So if you wouldn't mind answering that question for me, please, that'd be brilliant. So we're really interested to know whether you're here today as someone that's already applied for a plumbing program or whether you're here just to find out a little bit more information. That's brilliant. I can see those going through now. And although we haven't got answers from everyone on the call, I think probably, John, is fairly safe bet that we've got a mix of people there. So we've got some people who are already applied and some who are here to find out a little bit more information. So we will make sure that we target what we're going to do today to make sure it's relevant for everybody. What I'm going to do to start us off today is just play you a short video from Simon Cook. Simon's our principal, and it's just a little bit of a welcome and information about how this session is going to run. So I'll just play that for you now.
Hello there, I'm Simon and I'm the principal of MidKent College. It's great to be able to talk to you, and I so wish I would be able to talk to you in person, but virtually, hopefully your opportunity to get to know a little bit more about the college will help you with your decisions that you need to make. So over the next 30 minutes in this virtual open event, you're going to have an opportunity to meet one of the tutors from your chosen subject area. Really make the most of that time to find out what it means for you. Ask some questions. No question is a silly question. Please ask whatever question you've got. Take some notes, but make sure that you've got the info that you really need to make that decision about what you want to do in September. And if you're really not sure what you want to do, then you're not the only person. There are lots of people every year that we see. It won't be any different the current year under these current circumstances who really don't know what they want to do. There might be even some of you who are thinking you really don't know what to do because you see what's going on in the world and you're not quite sure what job prospects there may be. By the time you finish your programme, the world will be a different place again, and there will be many more opportunities then that may not exist now. So talk to our staff about it. And also don't be frightened if you don't know what you want to do. Have a look at some of our other sessions. Come into other sessions and see. What's really important, and one thing I say to everybody who comes into the college, you must feel comfortable with the people that you're going to be sharing your next few months and years with. And I want you to feel comfortable that you're going to be able to flourish and thrive as a person, not just study a qualification, but flourish and thrive as a person with those people you talk to. So If you don't get any of the answers that you think you need in the virtual session, we've got a brilliant team on our course inquiries, and we've got a brilliant team in our careers office who will help you navigate the language, what options there are, and for you, what's the right thing to do, which is a question we often get asked every year. I hope you enjoy your session, and I really, really hope that I get to see you very, very soon at the college, and we look forward to welcoming you with us in September, if not in person, virtually, that's for sure. Good luck.
Okay, right. Thanks very much to Simon for filming that for us. What I'm going to do next, John, is pull up your slides, and then I'll hand over to you. And if you could take us through, please, that'd be brilliant.
Thanks very much. Hi, everybody. I'm just going to give you guys a little bit of a background on what we've got in the college and what we offer to students. Those of you who've applied will probably have an idea, but I'm going to run through it all. Okay, so basically we are set over 2 campuses. We've got the Medway campus in Gillingham, and we've got the Maidstone campus on the Tonbridge Road in Maidstone. As far as the plumbing department goes, we've got 1 workshop in Maidstone, and we've got 2 workshops in the Medway campus. We deliver level 1, 2, and 3 in Medway because we've got a specialised level 3 workshop there, and we deliver level 1 and level 2 in Maidstone. Okay, so the workshops themselves, I've been in many colleges around the southeast and London, and these ones, in my opinion, are of right up there, top quality stuff with the tools, the space, and the way they're laid out. It's a very, very, very good place to teach and to learn. And most of the students are in there. When they're in there, they really would agree with that. The courses that we do, basically, we're looking at taking people from school who have no prior knowledge, who probably have never done any plumbing in their life. Some will have done work experience, but we take it from students with no prior knowledge to build you up to, by the end of that first year, that academic year, to have you at a level where you're ready to go from either level 1 to level 2, or even from level 2 into the workforce. We're trying to build a knowledge, give you a professional attitude and a professional qualification to get you out into the workforce, or even go on to do level 3 and move on to whatever you want to do in the future. All the staff, all my colleagues, we're all fully qualified plumbers. We've all got many years. I don't even want to add up it's probably hundreds of years of experience. I don't want to say that, but we've got a lot of experience between us. We've all been teaching in over, again, 50, 60 years accumulated. We're very experienced. We're very passionate. We're dedicated. We basically want to get students in who are like-minded. We want to put good ethics and beliefs and work ethic into you to get you out there so you can go out and be an asset to a company. I used to employ apprentices, and I know what I look for. I always wanted professionalism, good attendance, punctuality, reliability. The skills, we can teach that, and we can teach the skills, they'll come. So if you come in on day 1 and you don't know anything, you're there on time, you're there with a professional attitude, that's straight away a big tick in my box. That's what we're looking for. But we're trying to make you very employable, let's say, and you've got to be reliable. I'm going to talk a little bit about the courses that we offer. Okay, so first of all, the highest level you can go in on a plumbing course is level 2. Okay, and what we tend to do is, because the majority of our applicants are school leavers, so we do look at GCSE grades for maths and English as the first thing we look at to see where you're going to go, what your starting point is going to be. Like I say to every student, we're not doing this to hold people back. What we're doing is we're looking to get you in at the right level. There's nothing worse than a student who may have become a fantastic plumber in the future being put on a course, a level 2 course, when at that moment in time they're just not ready to do that level 2 course. Halfway through, they'll find it difficult. The pressure will build up. You may drop out and miss out on a career that you would have loved. The smarter option would be to go to the level 1 course. So what we do look at is, for the GCSE grades for the maths and English, we look for 2s and 3s. So I'm saying 2s and 3s because there's an interview process. You know, I've been doing phone interviews over the last months now, and you're speaking to people, you're getting to realize that, okay, this young man or woman she's very eager to get on this course. They're very dedicated. So if you had a 2 instead of a 3, we can work with that. We'll also look at your other GCSEs. If you had a very high science grade, and maybe your English grade wasn't where you wanted it to be, we can take that into account. So we're trying to gauge early on the best starting point for each student. So the level 1, we tend to look for, ideally, if you had 2 3s, a 3 in maths, a 3 in English, that's brilliant. You would do your reset your GCSEs in the college that year to get yourself up to the 4s and then progress on to the level 2. But a little bit about the course. So it's broken into 2 parts. You've got your practical and you've got your theory. And 99% of the time, students love the practical part because they love being in the workshop and they love getting their hands dirty and building things and making things. The theory part, it runs with it. You can't do one without the other. It doesn't work. You've got to know why you're doing things. You've got to know the dangers if things go wrong. You've got to know how to fix things. So the practical and the theory, we try to run them hand in hand. The workshops, as I said, the equipment and tools, they're all there, ready for you. We've got a technician in there who's extremely helpful. He'll help you with fittings. What we try to do also is bring the classroom into the workshop. If you need to do a job, you've got to make a list of the tools that you need for that job. You've got to spell it correctly. You've got to use the correct terminology. So we're trying to integrate both, make them run hand in hand. So in the workshop, you'll be doing things like working with plastic, copper, steel. So they're the types of materials that are used in the plumbing industry now. Plastic is becoming a much more prominent. The jobs you would do, you'll start off from very, very basic, soldering things, putting small little frames together. A lot of students ask me, why am I putting a square frame together? And then I'm testing it, I'm taking it apart. But you're learning as you're doing it. You're learning how the fittings work. You're learning how to test things. And then as the year goes on, you build. But at the end of the level 1, what we hope for each student to be able to do is to be able to install what we call a cloakroom, which is a toilet and a wash hand basin in copper and plastic. So that's something that that would be your journey. We want you to go from the small frames all the way up to installing this cloakroom and having it tested and writing it up correctly. And that's your journey in the workshop. In the classroom, you've got 10 exams to do. So that's quite a lot of exams if you think about it. An academic year is 36 weeks. So 6 weeks. Divide that by 10. That means you're going to have an exam every 3 or 4 weeks. So your attendance is crucial. If you miss class, you miss time, you're putting pressure on yourself because you're going to make those exams a little bit harder for you. The exams are done in a classroom. If I was your teacher, I would be in that classroom under exam conditions, so no phones, no talking. If you have a bad day and you don't pass the exam first time, you do get a second chance at the exam. And you only have to do the questions you got wrong, which is great. So it's there, everything's there in place to support and to help people through. It's a little bit less pressure than the level 2, which I'll explain in a moment. So what we want from the level 1 is we just want people coming in, embracing it, working with us to help you get through, to progress you onto that level 2 course, to move you through in your career. And that's the goal of that course. And it's a brilliant course. It's a great course. I see students, I've been lucky to teach students who were level 1 students 5 years ago, and they drive past me in a plumbing vans now. And I always get a beep, bim, bim, bim. That's what we want. That's what I'm after. That's my job satisfaction. That's what we're looking for you guys. Let me just have a little chat then about the level 2. So the level 2 course is very, very similar structure. It's a little bit more technical. We do look at you having a grade 4 in maths and English. That's the level that the questions are pitched at. That's the level that the work is pitched at. Again, we will look at other GCSEs. If you were lagging in English, say you got a 3 and a 4, but you really wanted it, and you really wanted to push yourself, we do this. We will say, okay, we'll give you a trial period and see where you go with it. Again, it's broken into theory and practical. Slightly different this time. You've got 9 exams, but it's not done in a classroom. It's done online. So you will go onto a computer. It's 40 questions generally, all multiple choice, A, B, C, D. So if you went in like that, statistically, you could get 25% because you put you've got a 1 in 4 chance. But we will be training you. We're not looking to pass. We're looking to excel. We're looking to get high grades. Well, I'm looking to put the best plumbers out there into the workplace. 9 exams, again, there's a lot of exams over an academic year. More so now, if you miss days, if you're late, if you're not, if you're not engaging in the program, it's going to be tough to pass those exams. I'm not trying to scare people, but I'm just trying to prepare people. You got to come in with an attitude and you've got to be dedicated. I'm dedicated. All my work colleagues are dedicated. We need you to be dedicated too. You got to work with us. That's what we're here for. Support, to get you through, and to get you a career that you could go out and earn some money. You can install your parents' bathroom. They love you for it forever. So you've got put the work. I always say to every student, the work that you put in, that's what you'll get back out. We are growing an excellent reputation now in our plumbing department in MidKent College, and I'm proud of it. And we don't want to jeopardize that. We want the best students, and we want people who are dedicated. And we'll give everything if you give everything, and you'll love it. You'll get a great career from it. Again, just a bit more detail on the practical. This time you'll be starting off at the same place as the level 1 guys, but you'll just be moving a bit quicker, a bit more pressurized, a bit more detailed. Instead of installing a cloakroom at the end, you guys who are on that course, the level 2, will be installing a bathroom, a whole bathroom, a fully functional bathroom, which is, if you think about it, you come in September and by July the next year, you're able to install a bathroom. That's a hell of a lot of learning in 1 year, So that's why we need dedication. That's why we need people in there. But as I said, we're there to support. You'll never be put into an assessment if you're not prepared for it. So you'll be working with plastics, you'll be working with steel, you'll be working with copper, you'll be installing toilets, radiators, all this stuff. All the stuff you'll be doing out on site. And what we want then is we want to get you guys ready to progress. And that's our game, our goal, to progress. So where do you progress to? So we'll have a little look at where you progress to. So a level 1 student, obviously your GCSEs will be 2s or 3s. So that means you'll be doing GCSEs as you do your plumbing course. And we will be hoping in that year you'll pass all of your plumbing aspects with us. You'll pass your English and your maths that you're doing in GCE, and then there you are. You've now got the qualifications to go to level 2. We will look at attendance and we will look at punctuality. We will look at it very, very carefully. Again, as I said, it's about reliability for us. And the level 2 guys, level 2 you've got more options because you're up one more level. You can go to level 3, which is run in the Medway campus, and we don't have the facility at Maidstone. Or you can go straight to employment. You can become an apprentice. You can go out there and finish off your on-site part of your qualification. What we do in the colleges, we do what we call technical certificates. Any plumbing qualification, level 2 upwards, you will need an on-site part of it, so employment needs to come into it. So we're getting you ready for employment. We have a lot of links in the industry. We know people. I only would ever recommend a student that's got attendance of 90% and above. You might be the best in the workshop. You might get the highest results in your exams, but if your attendance isn't where I think it should be, I would struggle to recommend you to a person I know, because you couldn't let them down. So again, I'm trying to instill this attitude of coming in. I treat my students like I would my employees. So if you're sick, if you're late, you've got to inform me. You've got to let me know. Don't let me down, because at the end of the day, I'm here to help you. So it's about building that trust and that communication. And if you do have really good attendance and punctuality, I will recommend, if any opportunities come up, I'll say, yeah, great young plumber here, give him a shot. And then you're in the industry, and then you can finish out your apprenticeship. So ultimately what we're trying to do is train you to become a professional in a professional environment that we take seriously and we're very passionate about, and also get you ready to ultimately go up that ladder, work your way up the progression and into the workforce. And that's what we're after. That's really all I've got to say at the moment. And if any questions come my way, I'll be happy to answer them.
That's brilliant. Thanks very much, John. So I'm just going to perhaps get us started with the questions, just to give people a little bit of time to put other things in the chat for us. And the first question we've got through is around which days of the week the level 1 and the level 2 are delivered and what time they start. Is that something we can answer at the moment, or a timetable still being developed?
The timetables are still being developed. All I can say is it's usually about 3 days a week. And the start times are about 8:45 in the morning. That you tend to run to 2:30, 3 o'clock. If you're doing English and maths, that'll obviously be added onto your day. So for it, I can give an example. My level 2 guys this year, they were in Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. 8:45 starts each morning. The guys that did maths and English came in on a Friday to do the maths and English. So some guys didn't, some guys did. So we don't know the timetables, but what I do know is it will be over 3 days. So it could be a Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Not too sure at the moment.
That's brilliant. We've got something else that's coming on the chat, but just before we move on from that one, I think it's probably the right time to say that although that's what we would normally expect to happen in terms of attendance during a normal year, obviously coronavirus and social distancing might mean that those plans look slightly different by the time we get to September. I mean, our position at the moment is that we've got about 8,000 students that we work with across the college, and as much as we would love to be bringing everybody in September in the same way that we would any other year, if we are still bound by social distancing regulations, then that will change the way that we operate in September. I think what we're likely to see is that all of the fantastic work that our tutors like John have been doing over the last few months to support people remotely, I think some of the brilliant work that's been going on there and the lessons that we've learned about how to support our students virtually are likely to continue into September, but mixed with the opportunity for students to come in and do some work on campus and in our workshops and classrooms. So we call that approach blended learning, because it's a combination of that face-to-face work and working for some of your timetable remotely. So that could be at home, but supported by your tutors and support staff as well. So I think probably the best thing to say at this stage is that obviously that's all still a bit of a movable feast. So we don't know exactly where we'll be in September, but we anticipate that's the way we'll work. So although John has said, typically you're looking at 3 to 3.5 days of attendance a week coming in to do your technical qualification and your maths and English as well, that balance might be a little bit different in September. We've always encouraged our students to access all of the fantastic materials that are available digitally. But I think from September, what we'll be doing is building time into our timetables to actually allow you the opportunity to do that. The other thing that I would say about the time of day is that obviously lots of our students travel to us on public transport as well, be that bus or train. And obviously we know from what's going on at the moment that buses and trains aren't running as regularly as they have been. So I think while again a normal day at college would be that sort of 8:45 start through to sort of 3 o'clock-ish, what we want to do is make sure that our students can safely get to our campus, and that might mean that we change some of those times as well, just so that we haven't got everybody trying to travel at peak times. Obviously, we'll confirm a little bit more about that as we go through, but that's kind of where we are at the moment. So, John, I've got a question asking about uniform. Could you give us some advice on uniform, please?
Yeah, we've decided this year on the uniform is a polo shirt, black polo shirt, and we work with a supplier for that, so we'd give you all that information and nearer to the time. That's when you're in the classroom. So polo shirt and dark trousers. And in the workshop, we're going to have boiler suits this year, so overalls. And it means that the overalls can come into the workshop, you can do all the work, protect your clothes, and then they can be wrapped up, put in your bag, and you're not walking around with all oil and grease or whatever around you. So it is polo shirts, and you can get jumpers as well for the winter, and a boiler suit for the workshop. You have to have steel toe cap boots or you cannot enter a workshop, and you have to have your uniform. So steel toe cap boots, which you would buy yourself, and then the uniforms, which would be, we do like a uniform pack, and that would be issued, information on that would be issued when you enroll, and then you go and buy that. So boiler suits and polo shirts.
And I think we get a lot of questions about uniforms as well from other subject areas too, and how are we different from school if our students wear uniforms, that kind of question. I think for us it goes back to what you were saying earlier on, John, about making sure that we're getting people ready for work, because in most environments where you go into employment, you will be wearing the uniform that your employer wants you to wear. So I think that's our approach really. We want you to protect your own clothes, particularly when you're in the workshops, etc., but we want to make sure that we instill those habits of wearing the uniforms that your employers would be expecting you to wear as well. I think we've got another timetabling related question about apprenticeships and a question about, I was told when I applied for my apprenticeship that college is 1 day a week. I think that would still be the case, John, wouldn't it?
Yeah, for apprenticeships, it is 1 day a week. 1 day in the college and 4 days with your employer. So that's the way apprenticeships stay. Again, we're in this unusual situation, let's say, but if it was running normal, it's 1 day a week.
And the question goes on to say, what day would that be? And I think, probably we need to go back to my previous answer about the fact that we don't necessarily know that at the moment. But as soon as we know what that decision is, then that will be communicated out to everyone that's coming to study with us.
I think the key thing is even if college doesn't run as it would normally run in September, it's communication, and we will be communicating everything to you. I will personally call people up to say, okay, you're going to be in Wednesday at 10 o'clock or whatever example it is, and just to make sure that everybody's clear. Normally, you get a timetable and you follow it. It may not be, there may be a bit more fluid, let's say, but the communication will be there. You'll always know, and you'll always have been informed of when you've got to be in.
Yeah,
but we're hoping it runs as it should, but we don't know.
Absolutely. Our position is that we will prioritize keeping people safe over and above everything else. That's our primary concern. So if government advice is that we are still distancing, whether that be 2 meters or whether that changes, we'll be following that guidance, and we will be making sure that we manage the number of staff and students that we've got on campus at any one time, but also staff and students that we've got in any classroom or workshop at that time as well. Because, like I say, the main thing for us is that we're keeping everybody safe while they're learning with us. John, what I love about what you said in your presentation is you talked a lot about professional standards and the pride that we have in our ability to produce students who are really making a positive impact for their employers in the workplace. And I think that ties to one of the other questions that we've had come in. So what happens if I'm coming to a lesson but I'm late? What do I do in that situation?
Yeah, when you're on public transport, which a lot of young people will be, there's going to be times when the bus is late. So it's the same thing I would do if I was late for work. I would phone in. So if you phone in, let me know. Listen, I'm running a little bit late, John, or any of my colleagues. That's fine. If you can't get the phone, you knock on the door. I'll come to the door. I'll ask you why you're late. Again, it's not a judgmental thing. It's just like, why are you late? I haven't heard from you. What's happening? And you explain, and then you'll come in and join the class. If it keeps happening, then we may go down it becomes more of a disciplinary issue. But if you're late, we can all be late. But it's about communication, professionalism. Call me up. I'm relying on you to be there. Call me up, John. I'm going to be late. The bus was delayed, or this or that. And okay, fine. I'm a friendly guy,
And I think you're right that in a lot of instances, it's sometimes out of our control, and buses can run late and all kinds of things. But if you follow our social media channels, one thing you'll see as we go through the summer, and particularly as we start getting ready for students to come to us in September, we'll be sharing lots of things about what do you need to do and what kind of things do you need to get into your mind now to help you get ready to start your program. And one of those is making sure that you do the right planning in terms of how you're going to get to college, what your bus or your train timetables look like, making sure that you give yourself enough time to do all of those things. And I think particularly where we know that bus and train timetables are not running perhaps as they might be normally at the moment, that planning is going to take on an extra phase. And we want to encourage you to do that planning because, again, that's what your employer will expect you to do. They will expect you to be arriving, that they will want your attendance to be fantastic, as John said, but they'll also want to know that they can rely on you to turn up to a job at the time that you're supposed to be there. So again, everything we do is about instilling that work ethic to make sure that you will be a really valued employer when you get out into the workforce. Our time's nearly gone, so if there are any last minute questions that come in, we'll just deal with those quickly. I just want to close off by just taking you through one last thing. I will whiz through this because I know our time is gone. But if you are on the call today because you're not sure what you want to do, or you're at the verge of making an application, or you're not sure what your next step is, I think what we would encourage you to do is get your application in as soon as you can. We've been accepting applications on these programs since November last year. Now, it's not impossible that we'll go through the first couple of weeks of September this year still having people apply and coming onto the programs, but obviously at some point we're going to fill up. So the moment you've made your decision that you want to study plumbing and you want to come to MidKent College to do it, what we'd advise you to do is get to the website, and there's a link, a button that will take you straight into the website at the bottom of the screen at the moment for you. Go to the website and get your application submitted as soon as you can. Once we've got that, we'll give you a telephone interview, either with John or one of his colleagues, just to talk about what you want to do in your time with us and what you want to go on and do afterwards, and perhaps a conversation about what your expected GCSE results will be as well. Because John's talked a lot already, so I'm not going to go over that again, but our responsibility is to make sure that you are on the right program for what you want in your career further down the line, but also that we've got you starting at the right level, because that's the way that we can help you succeed and then progress right the way through the stages to get out into work. So we'll give you that telephone interview, and once we've had that, then your place will be offered to you for September. So get that in as quickly as you can. If you do need some further help or information, we've got a brilliant course inquiries team, and actually Sue, who's been looking after you in the chat today, is from our course inquiries team. So if you want to speak to Sue or her colleagues, you can call 01634 40 20 20. If you'd rather use the live chat service on our website, then you can head over to midkent.ac.uk, and live chat will go straight through to that team as well. Or you can email course.inquiries@midkent.ac.uk. And just before you log out of today's call, on the top right hand of the screen, you'll see a tab that says handouts. We've got some additional information there in terms of frequently asked questions, the things that come up more often than not when we're talking to people who are looking to come and study with us. And you've got a guide to filling in your application form and some details about student financial support as well. So make sure you click and download those before you leave today. A lot of that information you'll also find on our website as well, if you don't get a chance to download before we finish. So I'm just checking the chat again, just to make sure there's nothing else there for us, John, and we're okay. So what I want to do just to round off is to say thank you to you for coming in to watch this afternoon, and thank you, John, for giving your time to come and answer some questions with us today as well. Really helpful. I hope that if you were here to find out more about the programs, that you got what you came here for. If we can help you any further, then use those contact details that I gave you a second ago. Get in touch with us and we can make sure we get that information to you. You will get a copy of this presentation as well. So a recording of this whole session will be sent to you probably within about 30 minutes of it finishing. So if we rushed past anything or you want to go and check anything again, that will be there for you to see. But also, if you've got friends who might want to come and study plumbing with us as well, you can share that link with them. If you've got parents or carers or other family members who are really interested in what you want to do in September, then you can share that with them too, and they can find out a bit more as well. So once again, thank you very much for watching. Thank you, John, for your time.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'll just finish by saying we really look forward to seeing you in September. Thanks very much. Bye-bye.